Of course, in the registration, we don't put AMD-Penang, AMD-Malacca, AMD-Terengganu. But kalau you speak to the players, you will know from which state and school have they come from.
You had this experience of being the youth coach and also the academy manager for KDT, right? So pretty sure you would have seen all the players, for the past few months. So based on your observation, how far do you think they can go in this upcoming tournament? And what's your target?
For this AFF? Okay, good question. Well, basically, from my point of view, I like to be realistic when we make targets and when we announce objective before do we know where we are. Actually, for my target is to see if we can compete international level against national team, because at the end of the day it's not the same compete international friendly games or international tournaments, carnivals, during the year or in the past years than when the players take the Harimau Malaya and they have to represent the country. So my target for this AFF is make sure that we can compete against the strong teams we got in the Group E. That is Timor-Leste first, Australia and Thailand. Obviously, Australia looks difficult for our level, but we never know. We have to do our game and sure we will compete against the three of them. So my target is make sure we can compete and after this AFF we can make sure that our structure for the AFC qualifiers is done, and we have to touch up the team to get the target for this year.
Coach, this is from ISRO. Can you share about the selection of the players?
Yeah, sure. This selection, as I said, I explained, I know the players from the past years, not the ones we have here. We have more players that they don't have the chance to be here. At the end, to AFF, we go 23. But among these 23, in the past month, we did 2 stages. One was in AMD, the other one was in Johor, and we call 40 players, 36 to 40 players for that camps. So basically, in the last 3 months, counting that we were in fasting and Hari Raya, we watched obviously the batch from AMD, 45 players. We saw the SSTMI players in the SARU, the National Sport Program. We have saw private academies also and clubs like TSS, like KDH. We have saw obviously GDT, PDRM boys that they are competing in Belia. We have reviewed also Toystronic, we call them, few of them for the Johor camp. We have saw, and also we got one player from SSM Perlis for this collab. Also we review one school in Mergon, Kedah, and different players that I have seen them coming for trials in Johor, and I've been in another places to see players for trial, around 15-20 players. So at the end, what I say is more than 160 players that I have seen in my eyes. It's not that somebody recommend me, and I can tell you also that since I'm here 7 years, I think if I do an average of in a week, I can watch in my eyes more than 5 or 6 games in different ages, and probably videos 3 or 4 more. So we are talking about more than 10 games per week. I can watch it.
Coach,
yeah.
Can you share with us what you expect from your team? For example, how's the team play? What's maybe the tactical things since this is the new squad for Malaysia under 17?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. From the technical side, what we have prepared in the last camp, this camp that we are finishing today, is more focused in all the moments in the game, offensive, defensive, and transitions. Also, we have been checking the set pieces because we think we can get some benefit from that. And basically, our style is going to be following the style we have in the country. We cannot go. We have to follow the same line. And also the projects that AMD is doing and GDT is doing, that is a fact and realistic, that is giving us good achievements in Johor side and in AMD side. So the style is going to be the same. I've been coaching the last years here in Malaysia. If you know the style we have in Johor, or my style, is one style that we are looking to play the ball. We are looking to play organized in the offensive moment, progress zone to zone, and try to finish as much action as possible. And without the ball, as soon as we lose the ball, we try to do predator losing fast to make sure the opposite team cannot progress. For sure, in these international competitions, for sure we are going to suffer, and we will leave moments with the ball, and we will have to be strong. And this is one of the things we have worked in this camp, to make sure that our stress competition is strong enough to suffer during phases of the game that probably we cannot control. And this is, for me, one of our targets for this AFF.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, you almost 5, 6, 7 years in Asia, right?
7, 3 years.
So how so far you see our local ball in Asia in terms of physically and technique?
Well, this morning I was talking with Scott about that. I'm here 7 years, and it's true that when I came here in 2017, I cannot say there was nothing in the table, but we started a project in Johor and also AMD already happening. And was, in that time, I remember, was tough to find opponents, to fight games, to see more programs. But currently, almost in each corner you can find private academy or teams, or for fun, school. So actually in the past 7 years has grown a lot in terms of number of teams and groups and competitions. It's true that this world competition is one of the things we have to make sure to improve, because at the end competitions can have for schools, for fun objective. But it's true that we are talking about represent countries, represent professional clubs, and so far we have some weakness in this point, and these things we have to make sure it's not only one club or 2 clubs the ones who trying to do things. We need to bring to the line more clubs, professional clubs, to make sure we can be stronger.
Coach, there is 13 players from Academy JDT, so is that will make it easy to manage this team?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so, because at the end of the day, if I go to the side of GDT, I represent a club that we have very clear the objective, and we have very clear the philosophy and the generation. We touch up the teams every year, and we know what we have. Here we have a combination, we have a new team, we have a new staff, everything is new, so we are growing and building the house from the floor before to go to the top. So it's not the same, but of course make the things easy, not only because of GDT, AMD or different programs. The guy from Perlis, I know him also when he was 13 years old, so it's not new also. And there is many players that are not here that they can be, and I know them, they have played in different teams. And the reality is, in development, if you see the generation, is 2008. If we go back 4 years, they were 13 years old, and unfortunately for them, they suffered the 2 years COVID. So among 4 years, 2 of these years, they couldn't grow as the rest of the generations they did. So if we are realistic, they still have to work a lot, and we have to help them to make sure we can recover the past time and they are still very young. They have 16 years old, some of them 15s, and they have 5 years of future for represent Malaysia 20s, 23, and hopefully some of them they can beat the jump and go faster to the first team.
One question. What is the DNA for this team?
For me, compete, stress competition and compete.
Coach, personally, how confident you are with your boys for this competition?
Normally, I don't like to be in a comfort zone and very confident in terms of promise them we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. At the end of the day, I believe in the hard work every day. I believe in young generations. It's a long journey. It's a journey of good things, bad things, injuries, illness, and for me, it's every day try to do your best because we are nothing.
Question, manager. Since this boys will be a new batch for our national team, so how do you want to manage the expectation? You want to tell them to manage the expectation from the public, and also how to manage their social media, maybe. Because nowadays everything is in the social media. So how you want to tell them to manage the expectation?
I think seperti mana yang dikatakan oleh Coach Abi, he has been here long enough. So I've seen his database, the kind of data he has on his players in Malaysia of that age group. 8 years data that Abi has is, I must say, it is fantastic. He knows players in Kedah. He has information on the players from Perlis. He knows if you want that particular position, where the players in Terengganu, he knows. And that is why bila kita dalam awalan tu ada segelintir netizen kritik kita that all players are from JDT, all from AMD. Tapi when you look at the list yang nanti Wan akan bagi, daripada 160 pemain, they came from private clubs, PDRN, MSS, SSN Perlis, Touchtronics yang main dalam Piala Belia, KDH Private Academy, all these people came through the process. They came for the selection. And finally we only can take 23 players, and ini yang terbaik yang kita ada. Personally for me, I balik kepada I punya pengalaman Firdaus tahun lepas. Kita gagal di AFF, tapi kita qualify to the final round of AFC, and that's a different challenge by itself. And my personal objective, which also is, we want to do our best in AFF. We want to see the boys playing the best, bagi yang terbaik untuk negara, yeah, and giving 100% commitment. That is important for us. And playing in those matches, and then moving forward is to qualify to the final rounds of AFC. I think pemain-pemain pun tahu, ya, untuk mewakili negara ni tanggungjawab mereka, tugas mereka to do the best for the country, and that is why they are here. Yeah, and personally untuk saya, I'm very happy. I dah pun beberapa kali ke Gambang dan AMD di camp di Johor, so I was there. I can say I'm happy with the commitment daripada pemain-pemain, commitment daripada coaches. I think that is very important. Dari segi dan saya selalu katakan kepada pemain, don't worry about netizen. Ya, jangan risau sangat pasal netizen atau apa yang mereka tulis, because bila you mewakili negara, you will be criticized. You cannot run away. Dan mereka pun tahu pemain-pemain kebangsaan yang mewakili negara pun main baik pun dikecam juga, ya, dikritik. So for us as a team, as a family, we want to do our best and bring the best results forward. But like I said, our main objective Yes, AFF is to try the players, and we already told the players that if you don't perform well in AFF, your job is online for AFC. Am I right, Harvey? Yeah. You have to do your best, and more importantly is for us to do achieve a positive result in AFC. That is important. That's the job.
Ada tak tawaran untuk mengambil pemain bawah 17-16 yang berhasil di luar negara untuk berada dalam skuad kali ini?
So far tak ada. So far, I'm not sure. I think Harvey maybe ada a few players and heritage players who have they been in touch with you to play for the country. I don't think so. Yeah, I mean.
Personally, talking about
Playing for Malaysia, heritage players
from outside.
Yeah, from outside.
It's true that there is certain of players that they are playing overseas and they have the nationality.
Not verified.
And also, of course, before we do any movement, we need to know more details about them. It's not to bring players just to try luck.
So, Coach Harvey, what's the target for your first assignment in this squad?
In this squad, create one structure for the country generation 2008. For the tournament, I say already, we want to compete the 3 games and take it as a big experience for us, and of course try to qualify.
Last question for Mr. Squad. You say maybe if we have chance to qualify the World Cup or Asian Cup, what's the main objective and long-term project for this squad?
It's the same for every generation of players. We want to provide the best possible competitive environment for the players to reach their potential, and that's our responsibility as a national association, is that we want to provide the best possible opportunity for the boys, not only this generation, every generation, to reach their potential and hopefully go on and to represent the senior national team. So I see that as part of my job to provide that environment, and that's one of the reasons why I want to encourage to start youth leagues below the Belia to ensure that our players, boys and girls, we started the under-15 league for the girls this year, to give them an opportunity to reach their potential as well. So just to try and provide the groundwork where the players get the opportunity to be better prepared for international tournaments like this one.
Scott, do you think this team must follow DNA like senior team, KPG?
I've said this before, I think maybe to you all that, the coaches have a mindset on how we want the players to play, but every team is different in terms of the individuals. So we'd love to be all playing a high pressing game and proactive football. Sometimes it's not possible. So then, or we haven't got the players to do it. So each coach has to identify the players that they have, assess the players that they have, and come up with a plan to cope with the opposition that we're going to play. So we've got no idea about Timor-Leste, for example. So it's going to, I've sat in on the meetings, Harvey knows what we're going to do against Timor-Leste, and then there's a plan A or a plan B or a plan C. And that's the way it's got to be in international football. He's only had a relatively short time, a 5-day camp in Johor, 10 days in AMD in KL. So we don't want to complicate things. It's about keeping things simple, but players understanding what their roles are in each position. So I've got great confidence in Javi with the under-16 team and with Dran and his team with the under-19s, that they will do what's best for each individual game in the tournaments.
Coach Harvey, I have 2 questions for you. Earlier you were telling me that telling us that you managed to scout many players from different states, right? And only 23 were managed to be chosen, right? So, are you going to take it as a challenge in the future to perhaps, introduce more players who are not from AMD or JDT?
Of course, and this is the key. But to get the key, we need the platform, and the platform are competitions. The KPM is one of the parts involved in this site. Until today, only one game has been played. As Scott explained, the format competitions before the proposal, we would like to make sure that can happen for the short time, because at the end of the day, it's not to see players and teams in a campus, in a school, in a carnival for 3 days. Is to see them and to see the teams working regularly during the year, not only for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. We are talking about 12 months, and this is the process to run with the players. But for sure, we need to bring players from different programs, for sure.
I managed to speak to the former coach of the team back in 2019, which is Coach P. Maniam. He won this competition back in 2019. He told me one of the key of his success is that he also was heavily involved in the under 14 and under 15 levels as well. In getting players from those levels. So that was his success. So, will you be also heavily involved in the under 14 and 15 levels?
I think this question I'm going to reply to you. Sorry to smile. I'm here 7 years working from U11s until U21s, and I think I don't need to give you more examples in detail, but just see JDT, the academy, how is the academy, and then the question, I think, reply itself.
I think just to add on, Sandro, to your question about players coming from AMD, I think a lot of people forget that all the players, they came from states, sports schools, PLDs, SSN. They graduate into AMD because they have an opportunity to play. They are registered under AMD because they play as a team. When they finish in AMD, they go back to the respective states or clubs they come from. And this is the same scenario last year. The under 17 that played today, players are playing in JDT, players are playing in Penang, and half of the squad is with Juan Torres for under 19. Of course, in the registration, we don't put AMD-Penang, AMD-Malacca, AMD-Terengganu. But kalau you speak to the players, you will know from which state and school have they come from. The perception that everybody comes from AMD, yes, because they play for AMD, they are registered under AMD. But then again, they come from the grassroots program of all the respective schools and the clubs and etc. So that is just to add on to what Javi has mentioned. Yeah. I think we need to help to educate the public that AMD itself is only providing the support, assistance, growing the players, coaching the players at 13 onwards. But from that age group of 7, 8 to 11, 12, they all are coming from the school programs, the PLDs, like what Mr. Scott mentioned, probably from Liga Superimo, etc. Just to make sure that we get the message right, Sandro. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
I think one last question.
Yes.
Actually, can you explain to us again what was your challenges in in getting more international friendlies for the boys over this past 1 year after the under 17 Asian Cup? And I know that the AMD managed to play a few games aside from that, as a unit, what were the challenges faced in getting the right international friendly matches for the players?
Well, I don't think actually we had challenges, Sandro, because firstly, the 17-year-olds of last year, they graduated. They went to the clubs. So we need to find new players who are coming through the system. Okay? So the batch of AMD, they went to play in Mikasa in Japan or in Thailand. And then JDT went to play their matches. And the core players were already there, you know. And then when we had the first phase of training in Gamba, the rest of the players joined. And we had the friendly matches. And what we are doing now, and as you know, Piala Belia started, and they played what? Almost, how many matches have they played? Huh?
6 games.
6 games, okay? So Piala Belia started, they were playing matches week in, week out. And that's why we had the centralized training short period in 3 camps, tiga fasa. Now, we are already preparing, just to let you know, for matches for AFC. We are already getting requests. Teams are already getting in touch with us. I'm getting in touch with member association because the draw just ended. And we didn't want to play with a team that's in the same group with us. So I can tell you now, for example, Bahrain has reached out to us to play 2 matches in Bahrain for AFC qualifiers. So we are already getting in touch with teams. We also received information from Oman, because Oman is going to play in Singapore. So on the way to Singapore, they'll stop by in Johor, probably play a game against it. So there are arrangements being made by the Secretariat and the National Team Department to arrange the friendly matches. So that is important for us. Like I said, the key objective for us, Sandro, AFF, yes, we go in, we play, we do the best we can, but the ultimate objective is to go to the final. My KPI personally would be qualifying to the final rounds of AFC under 17. That is the objective for us. And that is a very, very important target to qualify, because we qualified last year and it's good to qualify back to back. That's a personal target for myself, and I think Javi also would agree with that, to qualify to the final rounds of AFC under 17. If we don't qualify, I'm not shy to say it's a personal failure for me. We must qualify, because now that we have the 9 slots for the World Cup, like Mr. Scott was mentioning, I think we have a shot at it, because 9 slots just from Asia for the 2025 World Cup is great, you know, compared to 3 slots, 4 slots. Now we have 9 slots, and I think with the support definitely that being given by Dato' Hamidin as president, who's helping us a lot in getting those matches and approving the budgets. I think we should give our best and do our best to get 1 spot to the World Cup. But the first hurdle should be qualifying to the AFC final rounds. I'm not saying AFF is not important, it is important. We have good matches to play against Australia, Thailand, and Timor-Leste, and not forgetting Laos is there, and we play Laos in the AFC qualifiers, Sandro. So it's good for us to see also teams that are in the region, how are they playing, and that will help us also to prepare for the qualifiers.